Alrighty, we're live. Jesus, my hair is floofy after the shower. Hello, everybody. Welcome to beautifully rainy Ireland. It was so nice all day, and now all of a sudden it's fucking pissing rain again. Good job I put away the bike because I was going to leave it out overnight because I was going to hit the road early in the morning. Anyway, lads and lassies, still recovering a bit from this chesty cough. Wait, just as proof. Fairly sure I have pneumonia again. Made the great decision to go on a 7-hour run yesterday. Not a run as in like I don't run. On the bike in the piss and rain and freezing cold, but it was for a disabled charity for kids. And no, I wasn't raising funds for it. And yes, it's real. We were just there to support them, but it was totally worth it. Didn't manage to go the whole way to where I needed to go. It was just too wet and cold, but anyway, so we're here with an update on Dan of Welsh News Network. And joining me today, he puts the ooh in Iron Brew. He puts the hag in haggis all the way from Scotland. Welcome to the show, Shuggy in the house. Shuggy, how are you, good sir? Maybe not then. I think Shuggy's muted. Check 1 2, Shuggy. Can I get a check 1 2? Well, evidently Shuggy has been snatched up by Dan's CIA connections. Wait, did I hear a distress call there? Shuggy, fly your flag upside down if you need help. Oh, for fuck's sakes. If it's not me, it's fucking Shug. Yeah, we can't hear you. Shuggy, fly the Union Jack upside down if you need assistance. I heard something. Do you know mine has actually been really bad as well, Michael? All day long, man. I might be really
oh, we have a happening. We have
something. Something's happening.
Hello. Oh God, what's she done now? Oh fuck, you got the hat.
Oh fuck yeah, I got the hat. I talked my nephew out of wanting it. I said I'd get you a really cool Green Army one instead, because I kind of have a bit of a connection with this one now. Did you hear my glowing intro for you, no?
I did.
Oh, good.
I'm honored to be in such high company.
There we go.
We can't spell whiskey.
Do you know, I have some right here just in case that will come up. So, HRH, is it His or Her Royal Highness? Says hello, Irish team. Good to see you. Could be either. Slanchawa, everybody. Alan Eyes says, evening all, I am here as Shuggy's translator. Well, if you're the translator, we're both fucked anyway. That's for sure.
Depending, exactly.
My mother is actually in your neck of the woods at the moment. She she flew up to Scotland a couple of days ago. She's coming back tomorrow. So I got to go up and pick her up, and we'll have some lovely duty-free cigarettes. That's what I'm
There is a current lack of wooden spoons in Scotland, apparently.
Apparently so. There's a lot of sore arses. Cerebral Tackle says, can you all send some good vibes for my wife? She's in hospital and it's not good. Trying to distract myself for a bit being here. Absolutely. I wish her the very, very, very best. And you're more than welcome here with us today. We'll hopefully have a bit of a laugh anyway. Although Shuggy's here, so maybe not.
Thanks.
Yeah.
We have a bit of business and then a laugh, I think. Maybe. I don't know.
Sounds good to me. So, lads and lassies, the reason we have gathered you all here today is just for a bit of an update, because I believe some, what would you say, some benchmarks, some time has passed, and there were some deadlines that were not met. Just really quickly, let me just read this out. Lindy Lou gifted 5 memberships. Thank you so much. Charky's in a van got one. Alan Eyes got one. Cripple Rick got one. Welsh Snooze Network got one. Sixie Girl and Kelly Fitzpatrick all got one. Congratulations, and thank you so much for that, Lindy Lou. Now, I'll just hand it over to you really at this point and see kind of what's going on.
Thanks. So when this all came out, you and I may have been in a very similar part of the world.
Quite possibly, yes.
And as a panel, we wrote to Dan and said, look, come on, this doesn't look good. Here are some very, very easy and specific deadlines we would like you to meet to prove to us that what has been leveled against you is not true. The first one was he was seeing his lawyer on that Tuesday, if you remember, and nothing came out of that. We then gave him a deadline of last week to show any receipts for any charities. Nothing from, we've heard nothing from that. His last deadline is tomorrow, the 20th or 29th, so yes, tomorrow, Wednesday, to prove that he was going to use his May AdSense payment to go towards the reason it was raised, which was the dogs. We've heard absolutely nothing. The last we all heard as a panel was to expect a communication from his solicitor.
And that hasn't happened, has it?
That never happened. I mean, honest to God, if he's hired the solicitor we think he's hired, then I'm defying them pretty bloody quick. Nothing happened.
And so, what was it that he was supposed to be contacting you guys about specifically, his solicitor?
Well, we think that we hoped it was going to be a missive from the solicitor saying that the court case had been overturned, and here was the paperwork. But that we don't know. We got absolutely nothing at all from him. I mean, crickets. Despite being told that the solicitor was going to get hold of us by any means that Dan had to get hold of any of us, which is all email, me a phone number, but email on the whole. And we've heard nothing. None of us said anything. I think maybe a couple of channel members have heard various things, but nothing substantial. We have not heard a single apology the entire time. And our conditions to him were, if we didn't hear, then we were going to assume that was an admission of guilt and draw a line under Welsh News Network. So we can't until Wednesday, but I'm afraid that's where we're all leaning. We said Wednesday, we've got to give him to Wednesday. Fair's fair.
Yeah,
nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to happen. No. We know that. But
I have a better chance of getting trials for Inter Milan than you do of getting an email from his lawyer. Straight up.
True. Yeah, that's very true. I think it's not his lawyer as well. It's him and everything.
That's all it is. So, like, has anybody heard anything at all from him? Like, is he just fallen off the face of the planet or what?
I think there have been various attempts at communication on a very, very minor level. Again, no apologies, no explanation. So anything that has been communicated to anyone, panel or chat members, has been purely and utterly noise. That is it. There's been nothing but noise from him.
The few things that I have seen was like him talking about some fucking food festival that was going on, trying to let on as if none of this mattered. But obviously it matters because he hasn't made any content. He hasn't reached out to anybody. He hasn't tried to defend his side of it. And then the overwhelming evidence just keeps, kicking him in the tits, basically. And he's got no comeback for it. I think a huge part of what he's afraid of, and this is something that I got a lot of heat for, and in fairness, you and I talked about this quite a few times leading up to all of this going down, which was that I wanted to slow release the evidence, and Johnny O from the Plot Hole was in the same boat, that he wanted to slow release the evidence so that would give Dan a chance to scramble for answers, and then we could go, oh, fucking really? here's the rest of the evidence to say that that is also bullshit that you've just said. And I think he probably saw sense and basically shut his fucking mouth at that point.
Again, we gave him very, very specific, concrete proofs we needed to see, so that we couldn't change the goalposts on him. We weren't going to say that's not good enough, do something else. We were very, very specific. We need to see this, this, and this by these dates. So he knew exactly what to do, and nothing happened. Nothing's happened. I haven't heard from him since that Wednesday. Personally.
Fucking hell. Like, that's a kick in the teeth for everybody that supported him over the years and everything else. Like, at the very least, do they not deserve that? You know, just something. But evidently he doesn't give a fuck, really, does he?
They deserve a lot more.
That.
They deserve a lot more.
Absolutely.
And we as a panel can only do so much. We can only say sorry on behalf so many times until it becomes hollow.
Exactly. And then on the flip side, like, to add to that, you guys have actively reached out to him and been like, hey, we need these fucking answers. Like, because you guys would be the best place to actually get it from him. But obviously he just isn't giving anything to anybody.
No, he's not. And I mean, the other place, we were a safe place for him to give the proofs and say, okay, here's the proof. We could then disseminate that to who needed to know. I mean, I can see he would avoid you like the plague, and Johnny. I get that. But I wouldn't blame him. We were a safe space, and we were the only ones that could really say, okay, that makes sense, and we'll now show that to you, to Johnny, or to whoever else. But again, we've heard nothing, no apology, no explanation, nothing. And nothing on his veteran status either, which is the one that really upsets me personally.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like, how hard would it have been from the time that all this came out to just give you something, just some evidence, you know? Like, on the back end, I've still been working on a few things, so this isn't over at all, because, you know, as I've said to people before, some people at the beginning were very much kind of going after this thing. Well, can you prove that he wasn't in the Navy? And my answer to that is very, very simple. The Royal Navy keeps records of those who served. They don't keep records of those who didn't. You know what I mean?
And if you look inside the hat, you'll see a name as to who served, but that's not the point.
Yeah. I mean,
the hat on your head.
What, this one?
Yeah. There's a name in there of who served and a number. Don't read it out.
Captain Dixie Normus. I knew it was my hat.
Biggest
Biggest.
So let's just get one thing, because I saw this in your chat the other day. It is very easy for the veteran themselves to prove their service.
Absolutely.
There are methods in place. Personally, my ID card still hasn't got here, but that's another conversation altogether. But I have other proofs.
Oh yeah, I've seen it in person as well. So.
It is nigh on impossible for a third party to verify a veteran's status.
Absolutely.
Period. Unless they are deceased. And even if they are deceased, you're going to need name, rank, number, and branch at the very least. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And you probably have to be like in the line of next of kin somewhere for that to be appropriate for you to be able to get that and have a bloody good reason to get it.
Or have an appropriate reason, absolutely. The reason, hang on a second, the way I verified Dan's service initially, because this has been a question that's come up time and time again. There are various public sources that I have access to through the old boy net. And I proved name, DM Jones, rank, branch, and years of service. That's 4 points of information. And I was pretty safe that was a good match. Yeah, I was wrong. Hands up to that. I've been called out on that since it happened, and I'm absolutely hands up. But I had 4 points of information, which I corroborated. I was convinced I was right. So on that one,
and it's understandable how that could happen. Like, I mean, genuinely, it is. Oh, interesting. I'm going to bring this chat up in just a second. But real quick, Demon's sister has gifted a whopping 20 new memberships. I'm going to read out who got those. So we're at 25 new members already in 15 minutes. Let's see if we can get to 35 new members by the end of this show. Here are the ones that were gifted. Verbal Boss got one. Alan Killian got one. Rajara, Crippled Cat, Ross Rachel Brady, Matt G, John, Michael John Dennis, Gaming with Both Hands. Shit, did I lose it now? Oh no, I didn't. Here we go. Gaming with Both Hands got one. God damn it. Oh yeah, Big Daddy Lemon Tart, Bobby Williams, Cass Graphics, The Kilroy, let me see. Barbie got one. Really Cool Rose got one. Mel Rodden got one. Lisa got one. Sirloin got one. Donald Morrison got one. I think that's everybody. Okay, so we had a few super chats came through from somebody who has put their name in as Dan's son. Now I'm not going to bring that name up on the thing because there's a picture, may or may not be his son. I genuinely don't know what he looks like, and I have no intention of bringing that up on the screen either way. One of them I'm definitely not going to read out because I don't think it's appropriate, but thank you for the super chat nonetheless. The other one, to answer that question, it's not necessarily what he's been up to, it's what he hasn't been up to is the problem. And I'll read your other one here in a minute if it's appropriate. The Dark Canuck was gifted a membership by the lovely Lindy Lou, as was Gia. Really Cool News, Mrs. Tom, Evelyn, Cariad, Me Too Tutu, Kelly K, Go Touch Grass, Linda Hill. I think that's everybody. Okay, so we've already reached 35 new members in this stream. So we smashed that within 2 minutes. Thank you so much indeed. That's absolutely awesome. It goes a long way to help the channel. I know people really appreciate those gifted memberships as well. And thank you again to Demon's sister and Lindy Lou. The battle of the memberships going on over here. Armageddon's Fire, thank you so much for the $3 Aussie super sticker. Thank you indeed. Can I bring this one up? I mean, I think that's a fair enough one if you want to answer that one. You don't have to, but Dan's son for $5. Oh shit, I shouldn't have brought that up on the screen. That's my bad. Well, it's fucking there anyway. So like, it says, why would Shuggy be part of the verification process? He's part of the problem, lack of credibility. If I could just jump in on that one real quick, I will just say this. The minute that I came to Shug with that evidence off the rip, he was like on board. You know what I mean? Like, in fairness, when you saw the reality of it, you were like instantly, okay, how are we dealing with this? You know what I mean? There was no lag time. There was no bullshit. There was no beating around the bush. And within, 2 days, we were driving around Wales smoking fags out the window while Chloe was asleep in the back seat. You know what I mean? So just to say that from my perspective anyway.
I suppose the reason I'm part of verification is I checked his, as best I could, his service in the beginning.
With the information that you had access to anyway.
Yeah.
Limited as that. Because like obviously in the States, you can look up a veteran, you can bring up their whole file, probably pictures and everything. You can't do that in the UK. You know what I mean? You can't do that here in Ireland either.
You can't. I mean, that's a European thing because it's GDPR. So you cannot do it in Europe, period. Realistically. And if I got no credibility, it'll both be, have at it. That's your thoughts. But I checked.
No, absolutely.
You know?
And that's the thing. Like, I mean, you know, it's the same with me. There's still people out there that think that all of this is bullshit and Dan can do no wrong. And every single thing that I've shown is bullshit. You know what I mean?
In all fairness, a lot of what you showed was circumstantial until you and I got down there. Exactly. And when we heard those people, that's what turned it around. It wasn't. I mean,
it was unbelievable, wasn't it?
In all honesty, Irish, all you had was circumstantial information when we met in Manchester.
Absolutely.
And it wasn't until we got, okay, it was fairly good circumstantial, I'll grant you that. But it wasn't until we actually got down there and spoke to people in the area that we both went. And I mean, literally sat at lunch when Chloe asked our waitress, you and I just sat there and, you know, our mouths hit the table when
I gotta say, right, like, of the three of us, right, so you with your history, me with my history, we'd both be pretty quick to puff the chest out and just do what we got to do. But we were sitting in this lovely cafe and everybody in there was so lovely. And we're like, fuck, like, you know, how are we going to find this out? How are we going to find this out? And next thing, all we hear is Chloe, excuse me. And the lady came over and I was like, oh, I wonder what she needs. She was like, do you know this man? I was like, oh my God. She just went in there for the fucking throat. And I was like, shit, what if he finds out? She was like, nobody likes him. Nobody's going to fucking tell him. I was like, oh, yeah, that's a fair point, actually. She was right on it, man. She was shit hot.
Let's be honest. Fairness. You got her and I at the Kilman Arms with a jaw-dropping moment. I'm afraid hers beat yours in the cafe. Hers beat yours. She wins.
She did win, but you absolutely have to admit, when we were at the Kilman Arms, I fucking got you both really good. Like, I mean,
you were about to walk out. You're about to walk out.
Oh, it was beautiful. For those who don't know what happened at the Kinmel Arms, right? So that's a pub just outside Kinmel Hall, Dan's fantasy residence, right? And basically, I went into this pub. I thought, right, I'm going to go in here and ask these people whether or not they know this guy, yada, yada, yada. So the two of them stayed outside smoking fags. I put on the hat and fucking marched in the door.
Guarding the car.
Oh, they were guarding the car. The escape vehicle faced the right way out and everything. And so I went in there, marched in the fucking door, but I came out with literally with the hat in my hand. I was like, oh my fucking God, guys, you won't believe this. And the two of them were like, what? And I was like, he got us. And they were like, what? I was like, he's fucking legit. And the two of them, you could hear their jaws hitting the fucking ground. They were like, what? And I was like, I think he's been fucking with us this whole time. He's legit. Like, there's literally a picture of him behind the bar. And Shuggy just went like this. He was like, oh my fucking God. And Chloe just sat into the car, devastated. I was like, I'm just fucking with you. Get in the car. Let's go. So, it was beautiful. And then you just hear the two of them, you fucking bastard, the whole way down the road. Oh, it was fucking brilliant.
It was pretty good. It was hysterical. But it wasn't until we got down there. I mean, it wasn't. We didn't know. We had a fairly good idea.
We learned more just standing in that village than we had known before or since. Well, actually, maybe not since. My my Facebook activities for the right up until today. Like, so Dan, if you thought for one fucking minute that you were going to bury your head in this would blow over, you've forgotten who I am. Because remember, when I come hard, and I don't stop coming until I'm finished. And load more information has been hitting my desk over the past couple of days, and actually some of it I mean, one of them I read yesterday, and I was like, I cannot believe a completely independent person has messaged me with this specific unrelated story, right? And you know what? I think as embarrassing and unrelated and petty as this may be, I'm going to share this fucking story, okay? Does that sound fair? Because I think, you know, at the end of the day, fuck him to the moon and back at this point. So, somebody reached out to me a few weeks ago, right? And told me about what he used to do when he was in primary school. So, like, age of like 9 or 10, 11, 12, whatever. He used to cause problems, right? So he would start arguments. He would lie like incessantly about things. I'll see if I can find the actual message. He would lie incessantly about things. And in order to get out of said lies, Now, when I read this first, I'm just telling you right now, when I read this first, I did not believe it as such. I took it with a grain of salt. Completely independently verified by somebody who messaged me about something completely different. And then I asked him, hey, you know, have you ever heard about this thing that he used to do in school? I made it very, very like ambiguous. And he was like, oh my God, yeah, I forgot he used to do this thing. And then he described it exactly the same way as the other person had. I'm actually just I'm gonna bring it up here if I can find it. I can't remember where I got this message again. It was either Facebook or in an email. Anyway, basically, he used to intentionally shit himself. Like actually shit himself. So he would be sent home to deal with it and would get out of trouble for that direct moment in time. So then the second person contacted me, and I asked that person, I was like, hey, did you ever hear about him, you know, causing some trouble, and then he would do something to get out of it? And he was instantly, the second he wrote, he was like, oh my God, yeah, he used to intentionally shit himself so that he would be sent home. And I was like, oh my fucking God. I can't believe that person independently verified it without being pushed on it. You know what I'm saying? Actually, you know what? I think that was in an email. The first message.
That's bad.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was in an email. Fuck. I was certain it was, but either way, it doesn't really matter all that much, but still.
I suppose in a funny way, that's one of the only ways you get sent home from school.
Like to literally intentionally shit yourself. Like to literally shit yourself to be sent home from school. Actually, I think I know how I can find this if I go into my email and type in the word school. Yes, here it is. Okay. So I'll read this out to you, right? So I won't say the name of the person. So he says, hey, Demon, big fan. And then he says his name. I went to school for a good few years with the liar. He wasn't the most popular of children. In fact, he had no friends at all while in school, which is that's sad. I mean, it is sad. He was a true loner. His claim of wealth baffles me. All the times he's said he'd pay for people's legal fees on stream. All I'll say, not a wealthy man or family at all. His dad was a harbour master in Almac, which is true. And I've been speaking to his dad, so I know what's been going on there. Knew nothing of his mother, and he wasn't the sharpest knife in the drawer. Whilst we were in school, rather than deal with anything you did wrong and own it like a normal human, especially a man, he would defecate his pants to be sent home so he could change. This happened regularly. Now, as for the food bank issue, wait a second. I better not read that part out. That's quite personal. Everything that was in the press is true. He disappeared from Almac, my town. Seen him appear on people's streams, and I thought I recognized him. Since the court appearance and verdict, I won't read that next bit actually, because again, that's quite personal. I'm not the greatest wordsmith when it comes to written word. Be better face to face. There's more to say, but words evade me. Here's my mobile if you want more on him. So what I'm going to do here, I am going to contact this gentleman who lives in the area. Now, my plan is to head back over there soon. Now, I have to go to the UK. I have to go to England on Thursday because I have to go over for my uncle's funeral. So it'll be the following week is when I'm kind of thinking I might go back over. So I have some ideas for what I'm going to do when I'm down there. Including I'm going to do some door-to-door shit. I'm going to start talking to people and recording stuff. Oh, Shuggy's getting his collar felt over there. He's getting in trouble. So yeah, I'm gonna go down there and have a few words with a few people, hopefully including this guy. So yeah, we're gonna have a chat and see what this is all about. Stevie T has gifted 5 memberships. Victoria B, Jessica, WDWL TV, Namor 18, and Lake Life AA all got those memberships. Lads and lassies, we've just hit 40 members. 40 members for this show already, and we're not even a half an hour in. Thank you so much indeed. Thank you so much, Linda. I really do appreciate that. That's very kind. So yeah, I want to try head back over there in the next couple of weeks. We'll see how things go. Like the flights are cheap. The flights are, I don't know what did I say it was the last time? It was about 50 quid a head. And Chloe has to come. I mean, she's the tip of the spear for all of this. And yeah, if this fucker is gone to ground, and we'll know more on Wednesday, but if this fucker's gone to ground, I'll find him. That doesn't mean I'm going to go out there hunting him down, but I'm going to go out on the fucking streets and make sure that I find out what's going on here, because I'm not putting this to bed.
I can't see him coming yet. No, he can't have moved. I cannot see him moving addresses.
No, I wouldn't imagine so.
Realistically. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, are you going to try and get some interviews on camera with the rest?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I've got a few lined up, and cards on the table. Basically, the only reason that I've been holding off on doing it lately is, well, first of all, I'm fairly sure I have pneumonia. I'm pretty sure. And also, I was talking to you the other day, we were waiting on the date for my uncle's funeral, because in the UK right now, it could be 2 weeks, it could be a month. So we have got that got that date now, which is going to be Thursday. So I'll be definitely over there. Hopefully then the next week, if all goes to plan, then we'll see how that goes. Like it's not the most expensive thing in the world to fly out there, but you remember what it was like when we were out there. It fucking adds up. It really adds up when you're getting lunches in what was it, the OK diner, or the was that what it was called?
No, that was a diner we stopped at for breakfast at McDonald's. You remember?
Yeah, what was it called? Was
that was Shuggy? No, the cafe. No, that was a diner beside the McDonald's.
Yeah, it was called. What was that called though? It was the
something cafe. I can't remember what it was.
No, it was something diner. It was like the OK diner, and I was like, that's not really a good advertising scheme there. Like it's okay. It's not great, but it's okay. It was something like that anyway. But so yeah, that's the plan. I'm hoping to go over in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. No, I mean it's knock on the fucking door, please. I mean he got.
Oh yeah, no,
I still have a problem with that veterans card he showed some of us bits of. I still have a real problem with that. And
that's a weird one for me. That's a weird one, because that to me makes it seem as if he may have a fake one.
Well, I asked a question of a minister, and apparently there have only been 2 since they've been introduced, which was 2018. There have only been 2 confirmed fakes that have been found by the MOD. So it's not common to fake them. Yeah, well, 2 of them in 6 years, which is pretty good record. So
yeah,
the MOD doesn't think they're being cloned or they're being faked. I would need to see it. I need to see it.
And why? What is stopping him from doing that, other than the fact that evidently it's either fake or not his, or there's some other reason to hide it? What is stopping him?
It will have his rank and branch of service and a picture. So
would he have gotten one? Would he have gotten one if he did like 6 months in the TA?
Yes.
Just for argument's sake. So like over here we have our version, the RDF, the Reserve Defense Forces. It used to be called the FCA, Fools Carrying Arms.
Don't start.
But that's what they used to call them, sandbags, basically. In Australia, they call them chocos because they melt under pressure. And so like, yeah, if he had done, if he signed up and did a week, it's not even, you said like with the TA, you probably do proper basic training. Like the FCA didn't really. You just gave a lot of langers guns and sent them off.
No, so TA in UK, you do 2 weeks basic.
Yeah.
Then you join the regiment. And then you do 1 weekend a month and 2 weeks a year. And yes, he could easily have been TA. And got a card that way. And that's the thing, is the card's not going to say Lieutenant Commander RN.
Mm-hmm.
And if it doesn't, at least he damn well served. Is part of it. However, he still lies, so it just doesn't account for it.
The other side of that as well, though, is the fact that I had a message from his father that confirmed, and I have it here in front of me. I asked him, was he in the Navy? He said no, he was not merchant or royal, and he never served in the military in any capacity.
Oh, but I hadn't heard that second bit. I'd heard
that only came through the other day. Actually, I didn't even think to send that on.
So in that case, that card is fake, unless his dad
I've
doesn't.
No doubt.
And,
quite possibly, and I do understand. I personally, I know the ins and outs of it. It's something that I have promised not to make public in terms of his family, certain things with his brother, for example. His brother's very much on board. He's like, yep, I'll fucking say it. I'll tell you one of the stories about his brother. His brother sent me all the screenshots to prove this as well. Dan hired him for a job and never paid him. There's a surprise. It was working at a car wash that Dan claimed to have bought, but what had actually happened was the guys who were running it pulled out and they took off. The building had been condemned, so they took off and kind of left all their gear there, and Dan just kind of took it over. And hired his brother, never paid him. His own brother.
It's a very, very weird family dynamic.
It is. It's quite from what I can tell from speaking to different members of his family, is that essentially absolutely everybody gets on with each other except for Dan. Like literally everybody gets on and they have a great relationship except for Dan, because he's just constantly causing problems.
Did you ask any of the family members if a sibling has died recently?
I didn't, but his brother's online right now. I can ask him.
Because he claimed in a stream one night that he had to suddenly go because his brother had fallen down and killed himself.
Oh, wow. How long ago was that?
Someone in chat will remind me. 6 months, if that. I think it was this year. Of course,
what was it that his brother fell? What was that again?
Fell, hit his head, and didn't tripped, hit his head, and died.
Okay, I'm actually asking his brother right now. His brother's online, and we've been talking a lot. He's really open and very direct, and he provides the receipts, and there's no bluster, there's no bullshit. Like if I ask something that somebody said, he'll tell me straight up, I don't know, or it's not true,
It was about 2 or 3 months ago, I think. Well, no, 3 months now, 3 or 4 months. But this year.
Okay, he hasn't seen it yet, but hopefully he'll see it and get back to me there in a minute. Let me just grab a few of these comments here in the side chat. So Alan Killian said, what happened with the interview with Dildan's extended family? They're all still in the works. We're waiting to kind of settle a few kind of things that myself and others want to get in place for it. It just depends on what way we go about the whole thing, essentially. Obviously, uprooting and flying over there and spending a day or two over there doing it, it's a lot of time. So things need to be kind of organized over here, and obviously it is very expensive. So I mean, there is that too. We need to kind of figure that side of it out as well and prepare. You know what I mean? We can't just up and go at any time. But anyway, William Graber says, I was a raffle winner. Instead of taking the laptop, I asked Welsh News Network to donate the cost to Tunnels to Towers charity. When I asked, no receipt was ever provided. Seemed odd at the time. Who knew, for fuck's sake? I don't know if anybody knows anything about that. You're welcome to let me know, comment on it.
No idea.
It's the first I've heard of it, obviously, but thanks for letting me know. And if anybody has any further info on that, feel free. Next up, we have Cariad says, please don't tar the Welsh with the same brush as Dan. Let me tell you this, Cariad, right? Besides Dan, I have never met a Welsh person that I didn't like. That's a fact. Irish, Welsh, and Scots in particular. I love my English brothers and sisters too, but I'm just saying, us Celts, we've always kind of gelled. We've always stuck together. So I've always gotten on with the Welsh. I've loads of Welsh friends. So I mean, no, I'd never tar anybody based on that arsehole. That's for damn sure. And it's a pleasure to have you here as always. Epiphanies has been a member for 18 months. Says Dan stole money from cancer patients fundraiser. You know why that actually? I'm telling you right now, and I actually meant to send you a voice message yesterday because I was so fucking angry, but my phone died. I was out on the bike in the pissing rain. Not yesterday, the day before, whatever day I drove my mom to the airport. Anyway, in the pissing rain, got to my mom's house, and I was taking the car from there, driving her to the airport. And my mom was coughing a fucking lung up because she was really, really bad with her chest. And I was like, geez, ma'am, you look very stressed. What's going on? She was like, oh, running around all morning before the flight. I said, oh, why? What were you doing? So my mom has been, since she retired a few months ago, to keep herself busy, she's given her time to a cancer charity. And what she does is she drives people from their homes to their various appointments. So chemo and radiotherapy, all that kind of stuff. And she's just like, you know, a friendly ear, and she drives them to and from there and whatever. So I'm thinking to myself, my mammy, a legend, an absolute character, and one of the most amazing people that I've ever known, spent her morning driving cancer patients to and from their appointments at her own cost, because she donates the money back. That they don't give a whole lot and whatever, but whatever she gets, I don't think she takes it. So she just leaves it with the charity for fuel or whatever and lunch. And she gave up her time and all that kind of stuff. And she's out there driving around and doing this awesome thing. And then I thought, and this arsehole is at the same time stealing money from what we can see anyway, from cancer charities. I'm thinking my 60-year-old mother sitting there coughing a fucking lung up, and that arsehole over there stealing money. Like it drove me crazy, made me so angry. Little Bo Peep for 199 says, agreed, Shuggy has no credibility. I don't think that's fair. I really don't. And you know the way I do things. I could like somebody, but also be like, hey, yeah, you know, this person has a point or whatever. I don't believe that is the case. I think you've and actually, just to follow the next one, Little Bo Peep says, Shuggy validated Dan's lies. But you've explained that, and I think the explanation you gave is completely reasonable. And that's at the very least reasonable. So I don't think that's fair to say. I don't think that's fair to hold you to that.
Thanks.
And I think, to be honest, I think the vast majority of people see that way. You know what I mean? Because like that's evident. Yeah, I can see it right there now in the side chat. Mike Betts is watching from Orlando, Florida. You lucky bastard. What I wouldn't give for a bit of, see, that's the thing. It's the humidity gets me though, you know, but I would rather it to the sideways piss and rain out there. That's for sure. No need for a fish tank there. Just hang the fish out the fucking window and they'll be able to swim. It's that bad here right now. I got
same here
yesterday, right? So I went on this charity run yesterday. It's for a school for kids with disabilities. And my mom did a lot of work with them for the last 25 years of her career. She would have worked very closely with that school. So I was like, I don't give a shit. My mom was driving around yesterday with a chest infection, driving people to their appointments before getting on a flight. If she can do that at 60 years old, I can get my 32-year-old arse on the back of a bike and head up the road. What I didn't account for was it was so humid yesterday morning. Jumped on the bike, rode up to the city to where we were all meeting. I had my rain gear on. And when I got there, I was like, fuck, this is too hot. Took all the rain gear off. I said, look, I'd rather get wet than melt away in this rain gear. And then we left that place and started riding up over the mountains towards County Kerry. And it pissed rain from all directions. It was freezing fucking cold. And then I had to pull in and put on my rain gear, but it was too late. I was soaked on the inside. Do you know what I mean? So I was like, fuck it. But I was stuck like that then for about 5 hours. So needless to say, I felt that bad yesterday and today. Like I'm making up for it now. But
well, that we dram.
Look. Oh, I had plenty of wee drams last night. I got a. Do you know what? I got a whiskey. I'd have to check the name of it now. Got a whiskey from Aldi. And it was cheap enough. It was about €25. It was a triple distilled Irish single malt. And I'm telling you one thing, it was fucking beautiful. Like that's what I'm drinking right now. It's oh my God, it is as smooth. It's absolutely gorgeous. And there's a Scotch that I get from time to time when I feel like just reminding myself how good Irish whiskey is. In Lidl, I think it's €30, and it's a 14 or 15-year-old single malt Scotch. And when they did blind testing a couple of years ago with some of the leading experts in Europe, it ranked in the top 3 for all of them. And it was like €30 a bottle. And it was right up there with Glenlivet and all these really high-end whiskeys. And yeah, it shit all over a load of, like, it scored higher than, what is that stuff? It's like one of those mid-range, like what my favorite Irish whiskey, if anybody's thinking about what to get me for my birthday, besides Harley Davidson vouchers, is Redbreast Irish whiskey from Middleton, about 20 minutes from here. It's absolutely spectacular. Like it's an amazing dram. So yeah, for my birthday, Redbreast all the way.
What is your Scotch of choice?
Scotch of choice. See, it's tough. That's like asking me what's my favorite flavor of toilet bleach, but what kind of range are we talking about here?
No, don't. Any like me, I like cheap. I mean, my favorite is Abelard, which is about 30 quid a bottle. And it's very, very mild, very good. The other one is Brooke Laddie, which I like.
Which one?
Brooke Laddie.
Don't think I've had that one.
Which is a pale blue bottle from Islay. It's a very un-Islay whiskey. Very not peaty, not smoky. Very, very good.
Yeah.
That's a wee bit more, 35 quid, but nothing. I mean, I don't like expensive whiskies. Sorry.
I found for me, when it comes to Scotch, I like the kind of more, I suppose I would refer to them as like the more lowland stuff that kind of tastes a bit more like an Irish whiskey, a little bit sharper than an Irish whiskey, if you get me, but not as peaty as, you know, some of the stuff from the islands and whatever are fucking, it's like literally putting a bit of turf in your drink. Like it's that bad. But funnily enough, I prefer a really, 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 really strong peaty one to one that's kind of halfway, because it's like neither here nor there at that point. So I kind of like something halfway. The nicest, the nicest Scotch I've had in the last year or so, kind of a low to mid-range. Yeah, I suppose it would be. I think it was €70 for the bottle. So it's still like, it's not cheap. Dalmore. It's a 12-year-old.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that's very good.
It's 12-year-old. Yes, single malt. Yeah, that was lovely. That was really, really nice. See, that's the thing. People buy me whiskey all the time because people know I love whiskey, but people buy me Scotch because they just assume I like Scotch. But yeah, that would be right up there. I'm just trying to remember what else I've had recently. I had a really lovely one in a square kind of a bottle. I think it was pricey enough. Bladnoch.
Is that bourbon?
No, I'm pretty sure it's a Scotch. I think it's a single malt Scotch. I'll look it up.
I don't know.
I think
I know what I like. I don't typically go outside of that.
See, there's nothing wrong with that either. It's like my uncle. He'll only drink Paddy's Irish whiskey. That's it. And like, I wouldn't rate it at all. Oh yeah, Bladnoch Distillery, finest Lowland single malt Scotch. Let's see here.
Lowland, interesting.
Yeah, that's the one.
So that's an untapped part of Scotland for whiskey. There are very few Lowland whiskies. If you look at the map of Scotland, as you go counterclockwise, you go from Lowland to Speyside, which is the majority of whiskies in Speyside. The Glens, the Darwiny, and all that sort of thing. That's Speyside. Then you go up to the Highlands. You then go out to Orkney for Highland Park. Then you go to the West Coast. Again, Highland whiskies. Very hilly, not peaty, but very crisp. You come down
crisp
the island.
Kind of, still a bit earthy though.
Because of the hills. Because of the hills. It's that very heathery type of planty type of whiskey.
That actually reminds me, there was one that I had when I was up at the it's a whiskey museum in Dublin. And but there's also a beautiful shop there, and you can buy a plate of whiskey, which is basically 5 small glasses that you can just pick from whatever you like in different ranges or whatever. So I picked one top shelf one, and I think for one little dram of it, it was, I want to say it was about 45 euro. Like, it was pricey, but it was pale. It was almost like a Japanese whiskey, really, really, really pale. And but when you tasted it, it was actually quite strong and earthy, and like you say, kind of hilly. And what it was is, the reason it was so pale, not white, but like, it was like, how would I describe it? Color wise, it would be like somebody who's well hydrated piss. Like, it was really mild, basically. And that's the simplest way I can do this, ladies and gentlemen. So that's how my brain works. And it's because it was filtered through white heather, over and over and over again. And they slowly drip it down through white heather.
It won't get its color from that. The color comes from the cask.
No, but that's the thing. Filtering it through the heather was actually taking the tannins back out of it.
So they filtered it after they matured it.
Correct.
How very peculiar. Okay.
Very lovely.
No idea.
Let me just read through these here. Clark Canuck for $2.79 Canada dollars says, "Alas, I have no gift function, but I can donate. Thank you so much indeed. I really appreciate that." And Demon Sister for $20 says, "So looking forward to meeting Shuggy. Are you any relation to Shaggy?" Zoinks. Brother John speaks so highly of you. I do, in fairness. I do. And you know what? It's funny that she brings up Shaggy from, what's that fucking show called? The Ghost, what's that?
Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Doo, that's the one. Well, Scooby fucking don't, Dan. Because basically, Dan is the bad guy, and he's like, I would have fucking done it if it wasn't for those meddling YouTube bastards. But basically, tough shit. We got you, bud. Demon Sister for $5 says, "Is it just me, or does Shuggy's avatar resemble a pile of shite?" Ooh. Oh, what a thing to say about His Majesty's Navy. But I can kind of see.
No, you can't. No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
It's on your hat too, so be nice.
Hey, I'm all right with that. I'm used to being a shithead, so it's all good to me.
Fair enough.
William Graber for $5 says, "I was a raffle winner instead." Oh, yeah. I read that as a comment earlier, but thanks for letting me know, William. You can feel free to reach out on an email, and you can fill me in a little bit on that one. Aha, interesting. I got a message back from Dan's brother.
Yeah.
Oh my fucking God. I'll get to that in a second. I'll read these super chats first. Ooh. Oh, fuck. My nipples just got really hard because I could feel the pettiness starting to rise from within once again.
Chloe, help. Please help.
Oh, Chloe. Chloe. Will you get me something for my nipples, please? Not the tassel. Lindy Lou from $5 says the lowest form of snake is one who scams for charity. I could not agree with you more. Like, I don't know why, again, ADHD brain now adding whiskey into the mix. When I read the lowest form of snake, it reminded me of something from Blackadder. You snack. There was one part where it was like, you're the lowest form of snack. One of the French ones, anyway. I can't remember what one it was.
Was that Blackadder or Monty Python?
No, it was definitely Blackadder. I was never a big Monty Python fan. Like, I liked some of it, but yeah, never, not quite as much anyway. So the Blackadder guys, they were footlights, wasn't it?
Yes. Well, no. Yeah. Yes. They also were Stephen Fry, Hugh
Laurie, Emma. What's her name?
Yeah, I can't remember. But yes, they were. They all came with footlights.
All that crew, and then the Oxford guys. What was their group called? I can never fucking remember it. Fuck. I'll come back to that. Because I can always remember the footlights. I can never remember the other ones. Now, this next super chat is going to come in very fucking handy, I think. Demon's Sister for $50 says, here's the first donation in your piggy bank for the follow-up visit to Wales. I heard your sister's tagging along, you lucky bastard. We'll see. I'll let you know what dates I'm going. We'll try. I have so much on over the next few weeks that it's going to be hard to get a day that I can just be like, okay, this is the fucking day I'm going. But I'm not going to tell anybody what day it is.
But it's getting to the stage where you need to have a long weekend in a funny way, isn't it? It's getting too much for one day. That's
the hard part. Every single weekend that I have coming up, every single one of them is chocked full of stuff. Like this weekend coming, I've 3 days actually of non-stop stuff when I get back from London. The following weekend, I have more events on and Chloe's brother's birthday. And then the following weekend, I've got Chloe's birthday. And the weekend after that, I have another event on. So I'm going to have to do midweek at some point. But I think we'll do an overnight, hopefully. Depending on how. So anyway, I contacted Dan's brother. And I said, Dan claimed in a stream about 3 months ago that his brother fell and hit his head and died. Is that true? He responded, no. His only true brother, as in his full brother with the same parents, and then he says his name, is very much alive. I'm his stepbrother, and yes, about 7 years ago, my heart stopped. I collapsed and now have a pacemaker. So he may have taken that fact and spun it into a lie, potentially. I can't even remember if I was speaking to him at the time that happened, though. I'm pretty sure I wasn't. This little embellishment may have come from my experience, or it may be completely made up. That I don't know.
Interesting.
So, the plot thickens further. Oh, fucking hell, Dan.
Just another nip in the coffin.
Just another one, isn't it? Unfucking believable, man. See how amazing it is, though, to have the connections that I now have and to be able to say, you asked me that simple question about, have you asked if his brother died? Oh, well, fucking do it right now. Click, 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 boom. And then we get that answer straight away in real time. It's absolutely
and again, it's not concrete proof. It's still
for sure.
Circumstantial, but there's just so much building up. It's got to be true. And the fact you have those two who both corroborated the same story without even being asked. That was
unbelievable. And you know what blew me away about that? When the second person contacted me, and the first question I asked, because I had reached out to somebody who reached out to them on my behalf. So the first thing I asked was like, do you know this other person? And they were like, I recognize his name, and I think we went to the same school, but I actually don't really know him. I was like, oh, okay. Because I wanted to see if I could corroborate some of the stuff he had said. And then the second person just out of nowhere, when I said, "Hey, was there ever a time where he did something at school to get out of trouble?" He's like, "Oh my God, yeah, he used to shit himself on purpose." I was like, and what it brought me back to was when that lady told us about the meat scam, and hence my on-screen name, which is not appearing right now. There it is, Dan's Meat Contact. And then when we went up to the house, and that second lady out of fucking nowhere told us also about the meat scam, I was like, "You dirty little fucking weasel, we got you now, bitch." And there you go. There's the proof, as they say, is in the pudding.
But it is
sorry,
they saw his picture. It wasn't. The time that got me was you and I in the restaurant. You were uploading the video, and we were talking to
the video,
servers. Yeah, and they were literally, the more they spoke, the more they were recoiling in horror.
Oh,
and they were not. They were creeping out.
Do you know what I found blew me away about that situation? I was standing at the kind of bar area of the cafe, and I was desperately trying to upload that video before we went up to the house. And Chloe was up there. She was, I will just say, and this isn't to diminish her toughness, was fucking adorable. She was adorable, marching around the place like 007, except she is quite small, so she was 003.5. And she was brilliant. But she is the perfect spy because she's so unassuming. She's so sweet and lovely and smiley, and but she's well able. And then you popped in the door, and we got talking, and then we started talking to the ladies working there. I was like, "Do you know this man?" And the way they recoiled when I showed the picture was how I would imagine somebody on Plenty of Fish would recoil if Dan sent them a dick pic. You know what I'm saying? They'd be like, "Ooh, yeah, I know that creepy fucker." Now there's 260 of you watching, and you all have to have that image as well. I bet you it's one of those ones where he's looking down from up above as well. So now, get a good mental picture of that now, you bunch of fuckers. There we go. I had to come up with it, so it was in my head. So now you're all sharing in that. Thank you very much.
But in all honesty, he hasn't responded to any of us. Therefore, I think the answer is guilty. Index. Let's all move on.
Oh yeah, move on over to Wales first. Okay. And then I'm going to give him every opportunity to talk to me. He won't. Let's face it. But then that's it. At that point, it's done and dusted. It's my understanding already that 2 separate ladies have contacted me to say that they are going to the police about not everything, but things that, directly impacted their families or whatever. So there is that. I personally have no intention of going down that road because, frankly, when it comes to the Jesus Christ, my brain, fucking ADHD and whiskey is not a good mix. It makes for a lot of fun sometimes, but fucking hell. As far as the charity streams, because there are so many, and a lot of them have now been deleted, it is really, really, really hard to figure out how much is involved and where they were supposed to go and all this kind of shit. So there are people better positioned to do that than I. And my understanding is that is in motion. So there's been one person contacted me the other day, and I was like, holy shit. I was like, I don't even have the time to read over everything you've sent me. They compiled everything. Oh, look who it is. In the house, lads and lassies. TMA Droning is Dan's brother. Well, half brother. James, welcome. It's good to have you here. I was just telling him that you confirmed the situation about him not having a brother that passed away 3 months ago. What was his angle for saying that? What was the whole... Was it just...
I think, from memory, he wanted a weekend away from the stream. And he had to come up with better and better excuses for not being on there. Yeah, still making money.
Like, could you not just say, you know what, I don't fancy it. I don't fancy it this weekend. I've done that so many times. You know what I mean? Where you just go, guys, I'm just not feeling it for the next week or so. I'm going to take a break, you know?
That
And
costs him money.
yeah, that's a good point. And I think he was probably looking for the, as we would call it, should God love us money, where people go, oh, the poor fucker, and then just give him money.
Mm,
You know what I mean?
probably.
But yeah, it's just lie after lie after lie after lie. It's actually, I've never seen anything quite like it, to be honest. It's a new one on me to see somebody go so deep with this. And you know what blows me away about it? It's not just one big lie or two big lies. It's just boom, 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 one after another. All huge lies, and then all tiny lies as well that have there's no reason for. Like you could say pretending to be a naval officer injured in battle. Okay, there's a good reason why somebody might do that if they were looking to make money, and that's probably why he did it. Why lie about Kinmel Hall? My theory on that was it shows that he's wealthy, therefore doesn't even need to consider a measly few grand being scraped off the top, so that people wouldn't even think for a minute that that would be the case.
Exactly.
That was my theory.
And he kept coming up with excuses for everything. And the problem was that some of the excuses just made sense.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they were wrong. They could have made sense.
Could have, yeah. And that's the thing. People like that, they're so good at making people believe things. And I suppose it's human nature to have a certain element of confirmation bias. And when you're in a small clique, a small group of people that all get on, that confirmation bias is much stronger. That's natural. We see that with religion, we see that with everything. But here, the other side of it is he continued to grow and grow and grow. And literally 2 days before all of this came to my attention, I've said this openly. I've actually said this on my live streams months ago. I always had my concerns about Dan, and I told him that to his face on a live stream. I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, not everything stacks up with you, but whatever. And yeah, then I said to Johnny, we just happened to be talking on the phone. We just, because Bassett and Johnny just ring each other out of the blue all the time, just chat shit for a while. Just out of the blue, I was like, man, this fucking Dan guy, something is going to have to happen here where somebody's going to spot him online who knows he's full of shit and it's all going to come out. And then 2 days later, that's exactly what happened. I was like, God damn. And then I went power digging. I went full ADHD one night. I didn't sleep one night because I ADD'd out so much, just like doing this real micro investigation on Facebook, and found out everything at that point. TMA droning. Again, that's Dan's brother. For those who don't know, half brother, says, right here it is for everyone. About 7 years ago, my heart stopped and I technically died twice in 24 hours. I now have a permanent pacemaker. And to be honest, I can't even recall if I was talking to Dan at the time. Man alive. And then follows up by saying, so I can't confirm if my case is based on that lie or not, but it kind of sounds suspicious. Yeah, I mean, it does. It really does. Like, fuck, why? Can you imagine lying about?
He just wanted time. He wanted time off.
He came up with poker night. Go on, sorry.
And he came up with poker night as his weekly get out of jail free card. And something happened on stream one night. And he came back in saying, I've got to go, and left the stream. And it then turns out that he apparently got a phone call about his brother dying. It seems just out of doing a weekend stream. It was nuts.
Fucking hell. I just don't understand why it can't be a case of, yeah, not feeling it today, guys, and then just dip. You know what I mean? It's your fucking channel. Do what you want. But as you said, he wouldn't make money then, would he?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not going to read that out. The person who just sent me that WhatsApp, you know who you are, unless you want me to. That's totally up to you. I promised you from day one that I would say nothing unless you told me I could. Ow! I just got fucking shocked off my microphone stand.
Well, that's stupid.
How the fuck did that happen? See, that's that dodgy. I've been meaning to get a new cable for months. Sorry, I know. I'm just responding to this person. I think that person heard me say what I was saying there.
There's a question. The question is coming up about, asking if any of what Dan said. For example, Mike 71 says, "Was the hospital true?" We just don't know. We cannot prove either way. We're pretty certain it wasn't. We just don't, because he will not talk to us anymore. We don't know. Any of this.
Yeah.
And Deb's same for you. No, his brother didn't die at all. It was a lie.
Yep. Absolutely.
That's the one we can prove. Funny enough. That's the one we can prove. But nothing else we can prove, which is just so bloody maddening.
It's infuriating. Like, it really, really is that somebody would, like, whatever about lying about, oh yeah, I've got I was on a warship and I've got a 12-foot dick, like, whatever. Nobody cares. Like, people have bluster like that all the time. Message received. Thank you very much for letting me know. I just said I'd confirm with you first. And like, what was I saying? I actually totally fucking forgot what I said.
Drove a warship, 12-foot dick, I think what you said.
Yes. So he could have said, yeah, I was on a warship and I got a 12-foot dick, whatever. Nobody cares about that, guy down the bar. It's like, oh yeah, when I was in the SAS, but I can't talk about that. Like, I'm just going to mention it every 5 fucking minutes, but I can't talk about it. Those arseholes. It's always that kind of bullshit, though, isn't it? It's always, oh yeah, when I was a U.S. Marine fucking Royal Navy commando, like, they were never just a forklift driver or, the guy that stands on the end of the fucking aircraft carrier and goes, fights that way. They were never that guy. It was always, some fucking Rambo job, And you look at the big fat bastard that's telling you that, and I'm like, motherfucker, a Huey wouldn't be able to take off the deck with you in it, you fat bitch. There's no way you were doing that. You know what I mean? Like, it always has to be something spectacular. You know what I mean?
And my 12 years were really bloody boring, but sorry about that.
And that's often the case. Like, if you talk to most veterans, the crack. For the most part, the military in any, developed nation anyway, the military at its core is a massive logistical machine. So the vast majority of the occupations within the military are logistics, transport, like food, like everything. So like most service personnel are not infantry, are not fucking, joyriding tanks. Like the vast majority are people who work in support roles. And no, they may be out there in the shit. Like, I mean, you could be a desk jockey out in Kandahar. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean that you're not in a dangerous place, but for the most part, it's logistics. You know what I mean? That's the vast majority of every military. Like, it's what was that quote again? I can't remember who it was. I think it was one of the American World War II generals that had that quote about logistics. Fuck, what was that again?
I remember. But here's a thought for you. It takes 4 warships to keep one warship on station. Exactly. One warship is about 250 people. So it takes 1,000 people plus support staff to keep 250 fighting. Just a thought.
Oh, man. Oh, what was the one? Sorry, I'm just trying to find this one. Oh, it was Omar Bradley that said it. Amateurs study strategy, experts study logistics. And Bradley knew his shit. They named a fucking tank after him, so he had to have known his shit. Well, it's not a tank; it's an infantry fighting vehicle, but we'll take tank for the people not in the know. Right, let me just grab a few of these comments. Lindy Lou for $5 says, a happy early birthday, Chloe. Thank you so much indeed. I'm actually taking her for a lovely lunch tomorrow, and I'm taking her shopping to get some stuff for her brother's birthday. So that'll come in handy. Thank you so very much indeed for that, Lindy Lou. And Gia for $49.99 of those lovely American dollars says, if you see him, tell him to go fuck, to go TGFO. Get to fuck your dick. Yeah, I'll Scottishize it for you. Get to fuck your dick.
It's Gia, no one ever knows.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Gia. I really appreciate that. I will tell him to get the fuck for you.
By the way, Gia doesn't like Jaffa cakes, so she's banned. Just saying. Jaffa cake problems.
I mean, right, I'll just put this out there. I don't dislike Jaffa cakes. I've got no problem with the Jaffa cake in and of itself. I wouldn't go out of my way to buy Jaffa cakes. Now, if I knew somebody that could get a kilo of them for $4.99 just because they're misshapen,
$3.99.
I wouldn't. $3.99. I wouldn't say no.
Yeah.
But I am partial to Jammy Dodger.
Oh, you sod. Yes,
that is my biscuit of fucking choice. And do you want to know why I choose Jammy Dodgers over other probably more superior biscuits?
You let the jam out the middle.
I don't. It's good practice, but I don't. The reason I chose Jammy Dodgers is because I am a greedy bastard. So if I have a cup of tea in front of me and I've got something that is directly, easily dunkable.
Oh, but have you measured the dunking coefficient of a Jammy Dodger?
The what now?
Dunking coefficient. How long after you dunk it in before it actually falls off when you pick it up to eat it and goes into your tea?
That's the fucking thing. When you drop a biscuit in your tea, you can't truly enjoy the rest of that tea because you know you have to face that soggy bit of biscuit at the end.
I know. So that's called a dunking coefficient.
That's the thing. But then if you go for one of the stronger ones, like a hobnob, for example, you dip that in, it soaks up half your fucking tea. So, you may as well drink it.
This is a very important scientific study, the dunking coefficient of biscuits.
Absolutely. You're talking about a few countries here where this makes up a huge portion of our diet. This keeps Ireland, England, Scotland, and Wales afloat. This, people don't understand the importance of these. The other reason why Jammy Dodgers or these cheaper version, which are called Jammy Wheels, the reason these are also a good selection. Most biscuits will go soggy after half an hour, 45 minutes out in the open. These, you can't tell the difference because they're kind of soggy as it is. If you get me, there's a slight sogginess to it. But yeah. So anyway, that's why I selected, because I'm a greedy bastard, and they're not overly sweet, which I like too.
You were doing some super chats. We got to Gia.
I think that was the last super chat, actually. Alan Eyes says, Rich tea dunk bad. Fucking great Scottish Englishing there. Digestives are stronger.
He's not wrong.
He's not wrong. I love a good digestive on one condition, though. And what? I think anybody from the British Isles watching right now will agree with me on this one. A digestive has to be dunked only in properly hot tea. If it's any way below too hot to just about drink, it's too fucking cold for a digestive.
Any biscuit. I mean, the tea's got to be perfect.
It's got to be roaring hot.
Mm-hmm. Or coffee.
I don't like dunking into coffee, though. That's the only thing.
Oh, yeah. What?
Digestives, quality. You can't go wrong. There's rarely a bad digestive.
Oh, milk chocolate or plain chocolate?
What's plain chocolate?
Well, I mean, type of chocolate on a digestive. You can either have a plain chocolate digestive, or a milk chocolate digestive. The chocolate covering, is it plain chocolate or milk chocolate?
I would just call that milk chocolate.
No, you've got two different sorts. You've got plain chocolate, which is pure chocolate, dark chocolate, or you've got milk chocolate.
It depends on the quality of the actual biscuit itself.
It's digestive.
Yeah, but there's a huge range in the digestive sphere. Like, you have your low-end 22 pence fucking Tesco ones that are made out of whatever the box they came in was.
McVitie's.
What's that?
McVitie's.
Oh, well, I mean, that's the fucking daddy of them all. Although, being a Scot, you may agree with me on this one. Not a dunking object by any stretch. Tunnock's tea cakes, my fucking favorite.
They are quite good. Yes.
Oh, they're fucking marvelous. You knew if the Tunnock's came out that was going to be a fucking good day. That was going to be a good day. Now, I want to address this this comment, and this is specifically because anybody here from the British Isles already understands the inherent risk of dunking a rich tea. This is for our non-British Isles viewers. In case you decide to go out there and try this at home, this is why I just want to add clarity to what TMA Droning is saying here. What about fucking rich tea? They're made for dunking. True. But you have to have Bruce Lee-like reflexes and perfect timing. If you misjudge that by a fraction of a second, half of that fucking rich tea is ending up in the bottom of your cup of tea. But if you get it right, it's absolutely beautiful.
If you get it right, it's perfection.
Oh, it's perfection. And have you ever eaten a non-dunked rich tea? That's a miserable experience.
It is. Yeah.
It really fucking is. But then all you have to do is you take that simple, bland, cardboard-like piece of biscuit and you dunk it in just your regular old tea, and it's just a game changer. Fucking game changer. Let me ask you this one. Here's a very important rich tea question. Now, we are in full ADHD mode here now, folks, so strap in. Here's another one for you. Right, now, assuming you're talking about a mug of tea, so you're not at a fucking, cucumber sandwich type affair. You're talking your fucking mug that you got out of an Easter egg in 1998 kind of mug of tea here. And you have rich teas in front of you. Do you snap the rich tea in half and dunk half at a time, or do you go half in, finish that half, and then the other half?
Half and half. You half in, finish it. Next half in.
No, see, I don't have the nerves for that.
But if you split it in half first, you're only dunking a quarter of a biscuit.
And that's okay. Well,
no, it's not.
Because
no. You've got to have a whole biscuit.
Hold on. Hear me out. So that's a snapped in half biscuit, right?
Yes.
And this is a full biscuit, right? So we're going along do you remember the old ad for Jaffa cakes? Full moon, half moon, total eclipse. Anyway, so this is your full biscuit, okay? So just everybody know, right? Just bear with me here now so you can fully understand what I'm getting at here. So this is your full biscuit. Now, I don't have a cup, but this whiskey will be my analog. So you can either dunk half in, eat that half, and then dunk the other half in, okay? Or, and here's one I made earlier, you can snap it in half. Now, Shuggy is saying that you're only dunking quarter of a biscuit. Not true. You're holding on to this tiny corner, you're dunking the whole lot in and dropping it straight into your mouth because it's less surface area. Do you get me?
You're holding on to a small piece, so it's easy to break.
That's the risk you have to take. That's what I'm saying.
We'll need to.
You have to do a risk assessment.
We'll have to do a complete scientific experiment here and actually do it properly. Get the tea the right temperature, and then we'll have to get knives and cut biscuits and just make sure and then timing. So is Mark, the sarcastic idiot, law student.
I'm absolutely up for that. Like, so I'm just going to put it out there. that Sean O'Sullivan is an absolute wanker. So that's for a start. Because he says, doesn't matter once it's your favorite tea, Bewley's. You can kindly now take a screenshot of your comment, Sean, send it to your computer, print it out on your printer, take that piece of paper, roll it up into a ball and shove it up your arse. Now, if I was dying of fucking thirst in the middle of the desert, I wouldn't drink Bewley's. I'm a Barry's man, as well that fucker knows. Oh, we actually already had this conversation, remember? We had this conversation, a full-blown fucking argument outside a train station. Myself, Shuggy, and Stephen from iFuse Network, who is bringing us this show tonight, had a full-on fucking argument about what was the right tea.
It's not. I don't know. It's not the right answer. I love Taylor's. I love Betty's. I love all sorts. Yorkshire tea is very good.
Different teas for different circumstances.
Yeah.
Unless you're me, in which case it's just Barry's tea all the time.
Well, you can't get Barry's tea over here.
What?
I've never seen it. I never looked, I have to say.
Oh, for fuck's sake. No wonder the country's gone to shit. That's what the problem is. Tea saved the country at one point. People don't realize that.
Saved the empire.
Tea and tea breaks in particular were a massive turning point for enterprise in the United Kingdom. People really don't believe how important that is. Mike, that is not fucking tea anyway for a start. I'm sorry. Wherever the fuck you are, it's like a tea. I don't know. It's like something masquerading as a tea.
And we're not talking sweet or unsweet either.
No. That's just full on. That's just brown water. That's not tea. I've had Lipton and it's fucking horrific. As in the cold, the cold Lipton drinks. What's that called? Iced tea, which is an abomination in and of itself. But like neither here nor there. That tasted okay, but like the tea bag Liptons, and I know you love a good tea bag, but the tea bag Lipton it's fucking awful. It's so bad. Tetley, I will admit, Tetley is actually not bad. I've had that before. PG tits, yeah. TMH says, okay, no. Oh, but Taifu, I've had Taifu a couple of times. Didn't Taifu do the pyramid shape ones at one point? No.
Yes.
No,
we had PG.
Taifu?
I can't remember.
It was PG. Yeah. TMA Droning says, okay, now I'm dunking biscuits and vodka. Yes, I've taken it to the 21st century. So that's what we call a Russian brew. Let me see here now. Lindy Lou for $5 says, best taste dark fruitcake and whiskey. I've never heard of the man, but
wrong. The best fruitcake is Guinness.
I'm so
it's
sorry.
A Guinness cake. Is you add Guinness to it. That's the best fruitcake.
Could I have it without the cake?
No.
Oh, well, fuck that then. Actually, talking about tea, one thing I really miss about Australia when I lived there was a place in all of the kind of big shopping malls called T2. And they had all these awesome different flavors of tea, but they did great chilled teas. And I used to go in there and they'd have the taste testers. And buying drinks in Australia is expensive as fuck. So I would go in there all the time and I'd just be necking like thimble-sized shot glasses of this tea for days. I'm like, I haven't decided what one I want yet. And actually, real quick on that topic before I go, because it's getting late as hell. I have to be up early.
Yeah, me too.
There was a coffee place that I used to go to in Perth in Western Australia called Yahava Coffee Works. Absolutely just incredible coffee. Absolutely beautiful. And, excuse me. And I went down there one day and I got really carried away because they give you essentially shot glasses of the different coffees. And I love good coffee. It's one of my, if you're ever in Cork, anybody out there, Cork Coffee Roasters, just off Patrick Street. The best coffee in Cork, just so anybody that needs to know that knows. And I went into that place. You have a Coffee Works, and I must have tried maybe 12 or 14 different ones easily, if not more. And I started to get the shakes, and I was like, "What the fuck is wrong with me?" And my buddy turned around and he's like, "Mate, you just drank a fucking gallon of really strong coffee." I was like, "Oh fuck yeah!" But nothing would ever compare to Killer Coffee Company. My friend sent it over from Australia for me a couple of years ago. It's the world's strongest coffee, and it's each shot of coffee is the equivalent of 12 regular shots of coffee in terms of caffeine content.
Screw that.
So I hammered back a 3-shotter, forgetting how much I was actually taking. I had to end the live stream because I had so much caffeine that I actually started to shut down. Like I got really, 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 really tired. And I didn't know that was the thing. I did not know that was the thing. So apparently, if you overdose on caffeine, your body does the opposite effect. It just shuts you down. And I had to lie down in bed. I slept for hours and hours after it. So if there's any Aussies watching who can hook me up with Killer Coffee Co., I haven't slept properly for 4 days. So send some over and I'll fucking gladly take it off your hands. But anyway, as I say, it's coming up to 2 o'clock in the morning here. So I got to get to bed because I got to get her shopping in the morning and stuff like that. Listen, thank you so much, Shug, for joining us.
Thanks for having me up.
Oh, my pleasure. And
I had to get it off my chest. You know,
I'm delighted, man. It was just by chance somebody mentioned it somewhere earlier on Discord, and I was like, "Fuck it, I'll see if Shuggy's around, and we'll find out what's going on." But yeah, we might try to get back over there in the next couple of weeks, guys. Time is a bit tight at the moment for me, but we'll see what we can figure out anyway. And I'll hit the fucking, you know me, I'll hit the bricks and start asking people the hard questions, and if I'm too scared, I'll just send Chloe to do it. So anyway, lads and lassies, thank you so much indeed. We'll catch you all in the next one and have an absolutely fantastic evening. Sláinte. Actually, that's me whiskey. I may as well finish this now while I'm at it. Sláinte.
As you are.